It is National Menstrual Health Awareness Month this month of May, and I've created a little self-interview in together with ChatGPT, and I'm gonna just share my experience with having a menstrual cycle and what I do to take care of myself while I'm in my period, and also just generally throughout my whole cycle. Yeah, it's a topic that I'm actually quite enthusiastic and passionate about. So I'm just gonna dive right in. First, I want to let you know that this month of menstrual health awareness is basically coming up here with the purpose of spreading awareness and attention on the fact that so many people on this earth are having a menstrual cycle, and it's a natural biological process and kind of flow rhythm of our life, yet it seems to be quite unattentive or unspoken of, and since it does take place inside of so many people on this earth, it's not only affecting that specific person going through or having the menstrual cycle, it's also affecting the person's surroundings and environment. So I think it's a very important talk and chat to have, and I'm just actually thrilled to speak up about it. I feel like I've been wanting to talk about this a lot of times before. So yeah, I am looking forward to share. I hope you bring with you just something to reflect upon, or some inspiration, or some new knowledge from what I'm sharing. When did I first start paying attention to my menstrual cycle? Well, obviously, when I first got my menstrual cycle, I think I was 15 years old. But what I really want to talk about here is when I started to track my menstrual cycle, because I've been tracking my cycle for a couple of years now. I have this little paper sheet it's laying next to my bed. I fill it out every night, where every day throughout my whole cycle, not just when I'm bleeding, but every day I write some notes, like the amount of blood or how my mood has been. Just sometimes I also like to just jot down some like highlights of the day or something that happened. I write down when it's new moon or full moon, because I find that quite interesting to see if my cycle and my period is how it's kind of flowing and connecting with the cycle of the moon. That fascinates me quite a lot. Sometimes it's really on the spot. Like that I start bleeding when it's full moon or when it's new moon or whatever, and sometimes it's not in sync, but yeah, it's just something I enjoy. So I take note of all these little things to keep track of how I am flowing and how my body and my physical state is flowing throughout a cycle, a menstrual cycle. And I think I was 21 when I started to really get curious upon this and become aware. Maybe even a bit further. I had some years where I didn't have, like, my cycle stopped, or I didn't have, for like almost a year I didn't bleed, and I was like, whoa, okay, what's going on? And so I started to get a little curious. What does my cycle mean to me now beyond just bleeding days? It means that I understand better how I flow during each phase of my cycle. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but you can compare the seasons of a menstrual cycle with seasons of a year. So For example, in Denmark where I live, we have the winter, spring, summer, and the fall. And you can compare the menstrual cycle to these 4 seasons. And I use this a lot. I've been using this a lot while tracking and getting to know my own cycle and just like menstruation in general. So the winter is the period where you're bleeding. The spring is called the follicular phase. The summer is called the it's the ovulating phase, the phase where you ovulate, obviously. And then the fall is called the luteal phase. And you can imagine, like, just when spring is in the air. Right now it's spring here where I live. The flowers are sprouting, trees are sprouting, everything is sprouting and flourishing and, you know, beginning to stand in full blossom. And you can compare the energy of a menstrual cycle with the same kind of energy that's in nature. So I'm able to tune in and understand that the rhythm of my physical body, which is very connected to and influenced by where I'm at in my menstrual cycle. So it means that I'm able to take better care of myself, because I know now, both from doing research, learning about it, but also from tracking my own cycle. I know that, okay, when I hit the luteal phase of my cycle, I am more likely to feel emotionally, I'm more likely to feel emotional, or I'm more likely to feel self-judgmental, and knowing those things makes me able to meet myself better and not be so hard on myself, or not think that I'm wrong, or think that I should be able to be super productive in that period, or should be able to, or should want to, or whatever it is. What's something surprising or beautiful I've learned about myself through this connection to my cycle? The first thing that comes to my mind is that it has really shown me some areas of spots where I've been really self-judgmental about myself, like where it's kind of revealed to me where I especially have had those black and white images of life or beliefs, or where I've been thinking certain things about productivity or about rest, health. How do the different seasons of my cycle show up in me, in my life? I feel it both emotionally, physically, and socially. And the more aware I get, the more in sync I get with my cycle, the more clear it becomes to me that my energy, my state of energy follows the rhythm. So I definitely feel a rise in energy and inspiration and input and a lust for being social when I'm just coming out of my period. New ideas or new new projects show up. Then summer hits, and that's kind of a fluid flow for me personally. It's more or less fluid with the spring and the summer. There's like momentum. Then when I hit the luteal phase, after my ovulation, I notice I have kind of a little dip. It's like a week before, or maybe a bit longer, a week before I'll start bleeding. I'll have a little dip in my mood, in my emotional state, in my energy, in my like sense of self-trust and self-confidence. I'll be feeling a little more inadequate, inadequate, and a little more like vulnerable or slow or hopeless, even like, oh, nothing's working, or whatever it is. And I've just noticed that's like a repeated pattern for some reason. So when I go into the luteal phase, I'll feel a bit more wobbly emotionally. And also physically, like concerning how much I want to work out and move my body. It's also, quite interestingly, a phase, not surprisingly, but interestingly, I think, a phase where I'm getting a little bit practical. It's like, okay, I'm getting ready now to have a period of time where I'm bleeding, where I know I'm gonna be low energy. I'm not gonna want to go out and socialize a lot, meet new people. I just want to, be in my own bubble with the people I know, reflecting more. And up to the bleeding phase, the winter phase, in the fall phase, I'm getting a bit more practical. It's like I'm prepping for that winter. I'm getting things checked off. I am kind of creating a nest, not creating a physical nest, but just making sure I'm ready to go into a more reflective, restful, slow period so that I can head into the next cycle again feeling complete and ready to like embrace all those new ideas that come to me. It could also be like a lust for cleaning up my house that suddenly hits me in that phase or whatever. Stuff like this. I think that's quite interesting. So becoming more aware of my menstrual cycle is like getting to know my personal rhythm and flow, like strengthen my relation to my own body and my emotions, my own personal way of flowing through a month, making me able to kind of stand up for myself and support myself, hold myself much more efficiently and compassionately than before. In the next video, I'm going to share with you some concrete tools and ways that I like to take care of myself when I'm having my period, when I'm in my bleed. So stay tuned. I hope you will join me for that one as well.